The Constitutional Bench has asked for hearing notes by early next week, suggesting that the much-awaited verdict on the dissolution of the lower house could be announced any day after Monday next week. The hearing has lasted for just over a month as advocates from both the sides have tabled their argument in favor and against the government move. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama and these are the headlines of the hour. The hearing on the writs filed against the dissolution of the House of Representatives concludes. Much-awaited verdict any day after coming Monday. World power Russia expresses serious intent to invest in Nepal's railway track. Russia enters the strategic tussle between India and China pertaining to Nepal's railway. Data presented by Environmental Impact Assessment comes under microscope. EIA reports replete with errors. And it's American Jennifer Brady against world number 3 Naomi Osaka at the finals of Australian Open today. The members of amicus curiae have furnished their opinions on the under consideration writ at the Supreme Court against the dissolution of the House of Representatives. A verdict on as many as 13 writs filed at the Apex Court is expected any day after Monday next week.
The Constitutional Bench of the Supreme Court has asked the advocates from both the sides to present their hearing notes by coming Monday. It means that the Supreme Court is expected to issue a verdict on the case anytime after 23rd of February. The hearing on the case had been taking place at the Apex Court since the second week of January last month. As many as 13 writ petitions were filed seeking restoration of the dissolved lower house. In just over a month-long hearing, 72 legal practitioners pleaded on behalf of the writ petitioners. Likewise, there were 12 government attorneys, 37 private lawyers representing the Prime Minister, and 3 on behalf of the Speaker who had pitched their argument at the time of hearing. Likewise, 5 members of the amicus curiae, known as the Friend of the Court, had also presented their opinion at the Constitutional Bench. The marathon hearing mainly centered on the issue of whether the Prime Minister had the right vested in him to dissolve the House of Representatives, which had 2/3 majorities. The legal practitioners pleading on behalf of the writ petitioners argued that the present constitution doesn't have the provision for a Prime Minister to dissolve the lower house. They have therefore urged the top court to rectify the government move. Likewise, 3 members of the amicus curiae presented their opinion against the government move. All eyes are now on the Supreme Court for its much-awaited verdict, which is related with the future course of the country.
Now, at a time when paperworks have continued in terms of railway link from China's Kerung and bordering Indian town of Raxol, another world power, Russia, has also expressed intent to invest in the country's railway track. Russia has now entered the strategic tussle between India and China pertaining to Nepal's railway.
The second biggest economy, China, has for long shown interest towards connecting the Himalayan nation with the Chinese town of Sagatse via Kerung. However, nothing substantial has been achieved so far. Even as China was supposed to initiate the feasibility study by now, the project is limited to paperwork alone. China plans to connect the two countries by 2022, constructing railway track on 72 kilometers of Nepali land. Likewise, India has initiated the feasibility study for 113-kilometer railway track connecting Raxol with Kathmandu via Birganj. The Indian team is currently in Kathmandu in this connection. In the meantime, another giant economy, Russia, too has expressed its willingness to invest in the railway sector in Nepal. Russian ambassador to Nepal, Alexei Novikov, along with a team from Russian Railway, met with Minister for Physical Infrastructure, Basanta Nimwang, and presented a letter of intent in this regard earlier this week. The scenario is bound to make the railway politics in the country all the more interesting in the days ahead.
An environmental impact assessment is a systematic identification and evaluation of the potential impacts of a proposed project on the biological and social environment. The assessment also helps determine methods of mitigation, making it a crucial step before implementing a project. However, the quality of EIA reports in Nepal have been seriously questioned. The Environment Impact Assessment Report for Sangu Khola Hydel project in Dolakha states that the region was home to the fishing cat. Environmental experts say fishing cat cannot survive in the region's climate. Another EIA report for the much-touted Nijgarh International Airport states the project region is home to Octona sp or the pika. This claim was also dismissed by environmentalists. The same EIA report has even included common langur and langur monkey under the same scientific name, Presbytes entellus. These are only few examples of errors overlooked in EIA reports submitted and approved in Nepal. Since the implementation of Environment Protection Act 1997, the government has approved over 465 EIA reports till date. 34 of these reports were approved in the current fiscal year. 14 are awaiting approval at the Department of Environment. However, the quality of these EIA reports have largely been questioned for misinformation, irrelevant information and plagiarism.
नेपालमा चाहिँ के भइदियो त भन्दा नन प्र्याक्टिसनर्सहरु अथवा जसलाई त्यो विषयमा ज्ञान नै छैन अथवा जसले त्यस विषयमा अध्ययन नै गरेका छैन जसले त्यो प्र्याक्टिस कहिल्यै नै गरेका छैन ती मान्छेहरु पनि सुरुमा चाहिँ यो प्रतिवेदन तयार गर्ने अथवा परामर्शदाताको रूपमा काम गर्ने र चाहिँ विभिन्न प्रक्रियाबाट प्रतिवेदनहरु चाहिँ अप्रुभ गराउने प्रक्रियामा संलग्न भए त्यसले एउटा अन्डर क्वालिटीतिर लयो जसले पनि तयार गर्ने गर्दा र अर्को चाहिँ के भयो त भन्दा कट एन्ड पेस्ट बढी भयो.
An EIA also helps identify one or more alternatives to a project. Experts, however, say alternative analysis have been overlooked in case of Nepal.
हामीका त्यो अल्टरनेटिभ एनालिसिस चाहिँ एउटा सानो च्याप्टरको रूपमा राखिदिएको हुन्छ. They don't give in prices. किनभने हाम्रो अब्जेक्टिभ नै इट्स नट क्लियर. हैन हाम्रो EIA को अब्जेक्टिभ भनेको त के भने लाइसेन्स टु किल or just to get approval and implement the project.
Government authorities put the blame on private sectors involved in development projects, but express commitment to adopting better strategies in future.
अधिकांश रिपोर्टहरु प्राइभेट सेक्टरको अर्गनाइजेसनहरुबाट व्यावसायिक अर्गनाइजेसनहरुबाट निर्माण भएको हुन्छ र यसलाई हामीले यसको गुणस्तर सुधार गर्नुपर्ने जरुरी छ र यसको एकदम धेरै थिक एकदम बाक्लो मोटो पनि नचाहिने इन्फर्मेसनहरु पनि त्यसमा संलग्न भएको कतिपय ठाउँमा देखिएको छ र हामी यसमा सचेत छौं र अहिले यही सम्बन्धमा सरकारवालाहरुको गोष्ठी राखेर कार्यक्रम राखेर के कमजोरी छन् हाम्रो EIA रिपोर्टहरुमा कसरी सुधार गर्ने भनेर हामीले गोष्ठी पनि राखेका छौं र त्यो छलफल भइरहेछ अगाडि र हामीले यसलाई सुधार.
Nepal's environmental policy that requires an EIA has been lauded by all. However, submission of EIA reports have been largely limited to formality. In order to fully ensure sustainable development, there is a call on consultant companies and proponents to submit a genuine EIA report and for the government authorities to ensure the report's maximum quality. With Bikas Joshi and Hemant Katwal on camera, Sarah Sapsanama for Kantipur News, Kathmandu. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked local residents in Thankuta, what do you say to a situation where public are made to listen to speeches of leaders, whereas no significant works has been achieved? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
भ्रष्टाचार, हत्या, हिंसा तिर चाहिँ उनीहरुले कहिले पनि नागरिक समाजको कुरा नसुनेको हुँदाखेरि हामीलाई चाहिँ दुःख नै लागिरहेको छ.
नेताहरुले एउटा चाहिँ स्वार्थ गराएर मात्र अब भोट दिने पक्षमा हामी नागरिकले त्यही बुझेका छौं.
फल्ना पार्टीले यसो गर्यो, फल्ना व्यक्तिले यस्तो गर्यो, फल्ना नेताले यस्तो गर्यो भन्ने खालको गालीगलोचको कुराहरु मात्रै कुरा गरिरहेछ. यो हिसाबले चाहिँ जनताको भलो आर्थिक उन्नति हुँदैन.
Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, why have both the factions of the Nepal Communist Party flayed the Election Commission? Your options are A. Not acting on interest, B. Pressure tactics, and C. Inefficient commission. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for our special segment, Media Watch.
Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli on Thursday submitted a 3-page written reply at the Supreme Court on the contempt of court case, claiming that he did not give any statement that would bring disrepute to the court. Premier Oli himself appeared at the Apex Court and submitted an 11-point response. In his reply, Prime Minister Oli claimed that he had not acted or said anything to defame the court, assuring his faith in the judiciary. Senior advocate Kumar Sharma Acharya had filed a contempt of court case against Prime Minister Oli for his views expressed during a cadre meeting held on 22nd of January. Premier Oli demanded that the writ petition on the contempt of court case should be scrapped, alleging the petitioner of misinterpreting his statement. During the preliminary hearing on the writ, a single bench of Justice Manoj Sharma ordered Prime Minister Oli to appear in person and file a written reply. Meanwhile, former Chief Justices Meen Bahadur Raimajee, Anup Raj Sharma, Kalyan Shrestha and Sushila Karki appeared at the Supreme Court on Monday to submit their written response in another contempt of court case. All the 4 former Chief Justices had issued a joint statement on 8th of January against the dissolution of the House of Representatives, terming it as an unconstitutional step, while a contempt of court case was filed against them on 17th of January. The 4 former judicial heads said that they had issued a statement against the dissolution of the lower house using their fundamental right of freedom of expression. The police on Wednesday arrested and made public a man identified as Dinesh Bhatta for the rape and killing of 17-year-old Bhagrati Bhatta of Dogada Kedar rural municipality in Baitari. Dinesh Bhatta, arrested on the 13th day of the incident, went to the same college with victim Bhagrati and was also her neighbor. In his statement, Dinesh confessed that he had pushed Bhagrati from a small cliff and then raped her while she was in an injured state. The post-mortem report backs the victim had been raped. Bhagrati had gone missing on 3rd of February while returning home from college. Local residents had discovered her body the next day in a nearby forest. According to Baitari police, all the evidences prove that Dinesh Bhatta was behind the heinous crime. This is Abhyuday Shrestha for Media Watch and Kantipur News Desk.
That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.